Can you slow that down? And I want to see what it looks like. Okay, people, today I'm going to be reviewing Harry Potter and the Cursed Child, the 8th story, 19 years later. Now, before we get into things, I just want to say that I am the biggest Harry Potter fan. And not really of the films, really of the books. So when I was a kid, I was like one of those children that would read like this. I didn't want the pages to be all bent and stuff, so I'd read all my books like this. And I wouldn't lend my books to anyone unless they also read like this. And even so, even with my little rule, this is what happened to the 4th one, because I read it so much, even like this, that it just got... And the first book, I still know the first chapter off by heart. That's how much of a fan I have of Harry Potter. So I absolutely love Harry Potter. I was so excited to hear that this one had come out, and I just cried with happiness. And then I read it, and yeah, it's really sad. I wanted to love it so much. I wanted this to be the new canon, and yeah, I don't know, what can I say? It wasn't exactly great. So I guess I'm gonna do the warning now and just say any spoilers from now on. Like, if you haven't read it and you don't want it to be spoiled, don't watch anymore. Like, save this video and watch it later once you've read it. But I'm guessing if you're watching this, you've probably already read it and or don't care about spoilers, so spoiler warning, done. So yeah, I'm going to start with the fact that it was a play. I didn't think that would be very cool because I hate plays. I haven't read a play since Inspector Calls when I was about 15. But I actually loved it because you don't have to hear about all the kind of scenery and all that rubbish. You can get to the good part, the dialogue, and that's my favourite part of most books and most TV shows and most films, so it was great to just hear about what's going on and all the goss and the blah blah blah. So that was good, that was a good point. Absolutely love Scorpius, that's Draco's son if you don't know and or have forgotten. He was just a little cinnamon roll and I just loved him so much. His character was amazing. Absolutely hated Albus, thought he was so annoying, but I totally could see those two getting together, so I'm obviously part of the Scorpibus shipping off the Scorpibus. Check me out using all the lingo. Yeah, anyway, what I didn't like about it. So, the first thing I really didn't like about it was the use of some of the words. So I felt like some of the language was really odd, like some of it was kind of forced posh. Like they used some words that you just would never use in general sentences, and they used them, but then in the next sentence it would be kind of not posh. So, you know, try and be posh all the time, or don't be. Don't do this kind of in between thing, which I guess I kind of do. I actually have an example. Okay, so page 79, Draco says, "And Scorpius is a follower, not a leader, despite everything I've tried to instill in him." Instill in him? Is that something someone would say? Like, I'm English, I'm British, I would never say that's something I've tried to instill in him. I just think that's really weird. You'd say that's something I've tried to teach him or something I've tried to impregnate into his brain, but never instill. I just feel like there's a bizarre word choice, and it's immediately followed by, so it's undoubtedly Albus who got him from that train. Like, got him. Got's the kind of word you almost never have to use, even though we use it all the time. You can almost always replace it with a more sophisticated word. So he could have said here, Albus who, Albus who made him get off the train, or Albus who pushed him off the train. Or, I don't know, just not got. Got is, especially after instill. So, I don't know, it was kind of a long-winded point, but I felt like a lot of the language was a bit weird, a bit forced, and a bit kind of written by someone who doesn't know how British people speak, and or, I don't know, I thought it was weird. Okay, so another thing, the second thing that annoyed me was the timeline. I felt like they kind of hadn't really made an effort to properly understand the timeline of Harry Potter. And for example, when Hagrid goes to find Harry in the house when his parents have just been blown up, we all know that he saw Sirius and he got Sirius's bike from him and then he picked up Harry. But in this version, Sirius isn't anywhere to be found, and considering how they had such a boner for trying to find absolutely everybody in the Harry Potter fandom, Harry Potter kingdom, dead or not, you think they'd include Sirius, given the chance. I just feel like that's really lazy, and I just think, you know, I could have told them that if they'd have asked me, and I don't know why they didn't ask me, you know. Another problem was, and I've read this a lot on the internet actually, is how the whole Delphine timeline, like when was she born, how did that happen, how did that work, blah blah blah. And I'm not going to bother working out 9 months before where was Bellatrix, but I feel like other people have, and they've told me that I don't know how that would work. Okay, so I've got to mention the whole fact that Voldemort had sex. Everyone seems really up in arms about this. I'm not sure how I feel about this. I mean, I think a lot of people, when they think of Voldemort and Bellatrix, are kind of imagining like mood lighting and candles and like that song like na 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 na. And I don't imagine it happening like that. I don't know if I've never really thought about Voldemort in that way. I don't know if he would, but I kind of like the idea. I don't know, I'm not really sure about that one. I think he'd probably be into some I think he would have sexual urges, and I think they'd be really weird, and I think she'd probably be down with that. And or she got like a turkey baster and magicked the sperm out of him or something. Axiosperm. I could see that happening. She loved him so much and she was so into him, and I could see her really, maybe Voldemort didn't even know he had a daughter or had sex. So, that's a possibility. So a lot of the story was about Cedric Diggory. This was kind of JK Rowling's way of saying, look guys, he died, I had to kill him, it was the only way. And I kind of agree with her because I never really liked Cedric. I thought he was a bit of an arse, and obviously I'm always Team Potter, and he didn't really try to make his friends be nice to Harry Potter, and so I don't really care that he died, and I'm glad he's still dead, and I don't care. Sorry, Cedric. Okay, so one of the big themes, or the biggest theme of the whole book, is time travel. And I have the problem that in the third book we established that time travel, how it works in Harry Potter, is it the first travel, I wrote it down, single timeline theory. And that basically means that it's kind of like having no free will. Even if you go back in the past from the future, then that's how it always was. You can't really change anything. So, for example, in the third book, Harry, the first time, sees his dad and he's like, oh my god, it's my dad. Actually, it turns out in the future he comes back and sees himself. So basically it always happened. Coming back was always supposed to happen. It's one timeline. It's kind of hard for me to explain because I'm not really like an expert on stuff like that. But what I can tell you is the rules they set out in the third book completely just came out of the window for this book. They just completely ignored all of that. They were like, yeah, you can go back and you can change everything. So which one is it? I like the third one better because I think it required a lot more thought and a lot, some actual planning and some clever bits. And actually, when McNair put his axe down, you thought he was cutting Buckbeak's neck off, but actually he was just really angry. And I much prefer that to, yeah, we went back and then we changed something and oh my god, now everything's changed. But I will say that what I did like about the whole time travel thing was that it allowed us to see absolutely everyone, apart from Sirius, see almost every single set, I think. So that was quite cool, and I think it was a good way of them showing us everything from all the books. I did like that. Okay, so on to the characters. To be fair, at the end of the sixth book, we knew that they were all together and they were all this big happy family, and I never really liked that anyway. I could see Ginny and Harry ending up together, but I never shipped Hermione and Ron because Hermione is obviously my favourite character, and I just don't think Ron is good enough for her, I never got that. I'm Team Hermione and Draco, if I'm honest. Anyway, I kind of like that Hermione was Prime Minister, but I also felt a little bit like she's the only one we knew, and I don't feel like she's popular enough to become Prime Minister. She's awesome and she's really clever and she's like the best witch ever, but she's never been that popular and I can't really see people voting for her. Whatever. I hated how, I think it was the second time, or maybe the third time, I think it was the second or first time. Anyway, one time when they went back in time and Hermione wasn't with Ron, and that meant she was like this really grumpy teacher who was just like really angry and basically like Snape because she wasn't with the love of her life. And I'm like, if she wasn't with Ron, she'd be even better than she would now. She would be Prime Minister, she'd be President, she'd be like Queen of the world. So don't say that her not being with Ron would hold her back, because I don't like that. Hermione deserves better. I really like Draco in it. I thought he was done quite well. His whole kind of relationship with Harry and how he was like, oh, you're a curse on my family, which I'd never really thought about. I thought it was a bit weird that the root, like, what's his face? Scorpius, his son, he's bullied because people think he's the son of Voldemort. It's like, he would be bullied because he's the son of Malfoy. That's how that works. But, I loved that Albus was in Slytherin. I thought that was really cool. What else did I like? I really liked their relationship. Gay or not, I think it was a really sweet relationship, and I hope for the best for them. What else did I like? I'm kind of scraping the barrel a little. Oh, one thing I actually read this on Reddit. I didn't think of this myself. but someone said, and I really like this, that the progression of the book matches the progression of the books, the themes in the books. So yeah, the first part of the book, like the first Harry Potter book, Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone, here's my German copy, you know, it's all about sorting and being sorted into the house and your identity and who are you, and that's how this cursed child starts. They're all about like being sorted and almost slithering, blah blah blah. The next part and like the second book was all about Voldemort and the connection to Voldemort and, you know, being alienated and nobody liking you. The third part was about time turners, like the third book. Fourth part was about the Triwizard Tournament. Fifth part was about death and danger and feeling like really depressed. So the sixth part of the book was whatever the sixth book was about. The Horcruxes? And the seventh book and the seventh part of this book was all about Godric's Hollow, and it was a really nice way to kind of make it into a circle. I thought that was quite clever. But it had to be pointed out to me. Maybe because I'm dumb, but maybe because they didn't make it obvious. Okay, so I think I'm going to wrap it up there. I've got myself really overexcited. Basically, I'm really glad it came out. I'm really glad they brought it out. I'd quite like to see it in London, although that's really complicated. I'm not sure how you do that. Gotta look into that. Anyway, all in all, I'm glad it came out. I was slightly disappointed, but it's still so nice to see everyone again and hang out and catch up with old friends. I think I'd give it like a C. They didn't think about it enough, and it just didn't have that magic that the other books have, so. But yeah. Basically, I really want to hear what you think. Do you think I'm right? I am. Comment below. Please give me a like, and I want to show you my books. This is my Harry Potter in Spanish. I've got it in Portuguese. I've got it in German. I've got it in Italian. I also have it in French, but I think that's downstairs. And obviously in English as well. And look how big this one is. This is German book 5. This is what I do when I'm doing my weight training. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. Let me know and subscribe if you haven't already.